please?
Basically, I'm here today because I'm a carer. I've cared for my disabled daughter for all of her life, and to do that, I've had to give up a career. So if you think about it, I go back to the time when I was trained as a teacher. I've got a master's degree. Those pieces of paper might as well be sitting in my kitchen drawer because I had to give up my career because my daughter needed a full-time carer. So I felt I was the best person to do that. They were the only person to do that. So what's happened to me over the years is that I have progressed into debt. Basically because I don't have the earning capacity. I have the training, I did have a career, but I'm now not in a position even to get a minimum wage job. Like everybody else, the credit crunch affects us. My husband's job is very precarious. If we were to lose his job as well and lose our house, we have a really dire situation on our hands. And I feel under other circumstances I am employable, but I've had 13 years out of the jobs market now, so that's not going to really help me at all. So I need to come here today to say that £50-something a week that is offered by the government as a carer's allowance is actually an insult. It really is an insult. The work, I call it work. The work that I do with my daughter, I do because I love her, and I will not change that because the need is there. But from what I understand, people like myself, if we were to suddenly say we're going on strike, which we wouldn't because we love the people we're caring for, but if we did, the cost to the government would be the same on a daily basis as it costs to keep the entire health service. And I really wish they would look at that. And again, on my own personal situation, look, if you look at it from a financial point of view, several years ago I needed an operation. Now, we've got a national health waiting list, but it wasn't the waiting list that was a problem for me. The problem for me was finding enough people to care for my daughter so I could have this operation. It took 4 years. I had a consultant going absolutely hairless saying, you need this operation, and me saying, I cannot come to hospital because there are not enough people to look after my daughter. Luckily, it wasn't life-threatening, but my health was deteriorating. So if you look at me, say, and my husband as tools, useful things, well, we're not getting the fuel, we're deteriorating. We're going to an absolutely exhausted state, and at that stage, we will probably cost the country some money, even if it's just in a hospital bed. And then what happens to my daughter? So that's why I'm here today.
Okay, brilliant. That's absolutely fantastic. Okay. Out of interest, do you represent any particular organisation?
I know. Basically, I'm with the Carers Outreach Group from North West Wales, and the reason I'm with them is because many years ago, somebody said to me, go along to a carers group, and I said, well, that's not really me. I'm a mother, not a carer. So I had to get over that idea. But when I went through the door, I discovered that there were an awful lot of other people who were mothers, fathers, sisters, uncles, friends in similar positions, and it was extremely good for me because it was a safe place to go and talk, possibly offload, possibly have some advice, and it has been an absolute saviour of a place for me.
If someone just discovered themselves in your situation, what was the first thing you'd recommend that they did?
Pick the phone up to an organisation such as Carers Outreach. Any organisation that's already set up, why reinvent the wheel? Somebody somewhere has already been through this. So find somebody else in a similar position, because I think when you're together, there's strength and there's just a way to cope. And I was able to go and talk to people and say things like, I got through the day without completely losing it. They understood that. They thought that was a good thing. Whereas to call it outsiders or people who didn't understand, they might not look on that so favourably. They might think, oh, terrible woman. And yet people in the same position as me would say, well, you deserve a blue Peter badge, girl, carry on.
Right, and just finally, thank you, this is really very brilliant. What do you think is the main things the government can do for you?
Well, number one is take us seriously. Number one is actually give us some credit for what we actually do. We don't want bells and whistles. We don't want anybody to say, oh, aren't you good people, well done. We want people to say, no, you are saving this country a fortune, so we're not going to patronise you with £50 a week. We're going to keep you doing what we're doing. What does it take to keep you doing what you do? How can you carry on? Like, as I say, me personally, I progressed into thousands of pounds of debt, which means that my other daughter who's gone to college now, I can't help her out. She can gather up her own debt. I can't help her at all. So this this is a big ball that keeps rolling. It's like a snowball. It's getting bigger and worse. So I'd like the government to listen, and I would like them to talk to organisations, carers outreach, and the people who know, and say, what is it you need? Take us. And I would very much love one of them to come to my house for 24 hours. Open house, do come and have a look. And I honestly believe if they did that, if they walked in our shoes for 24 hours, legislation would start moving.